The islands, as well as other outermost regions, are not part of the value-added tax territory. And this means that when you're trading with the Canary Islands, you still need to send an export custom declarations, even if the goods are Spanish or Italian or French, and they are going to be loaded in a Spanish port and unloaded in the Canary Islands. So you need to send an export declaration to customs at origin and an import customs declaration at destination in the Canary Islands. What we've done once again is work together with customs, and a new legislation has been passed on. Now only those trade operations with value over 3,000 euros need to send an export custom declaration. So all those trading operations with less than 3,000 euros do not need to send an export customs declaration anymore. This is particularly good for less than container load shipments. And also intra-company trading operations do not need to send the export customs declaration. So we've done 3 prototypes. One of them has been done in Valencia together with TIVA and GRM and the Port Authority of Valencia. We've helped Spanish Customs with all the pilots to see the applicability of this legislative simplification with the Canary Islands in the case of Valencia Port. So we've helped with all the pilots and defining the final legislation. And 2 more prototypes have been done by Contenosa and Boluda, 2 sea carriers operating in this trade. And what they've done is an IT system that now allows to use data that the port community system sends to them to fill in part of the export customs declaration for those trading operations over 3,000 euros. And all these data are also sent to destination together with the export customs declaration. And the import customs declaration is automatically filled in. At least 90% of the fields of information are automatically filled in. So again, this initiative has allowed us to simplify the amount of work that is required in this intra-community trade with outermost regions. We've estimated that at least 2 million export custom declarations will no longer be needed in the case of Spain and the Canary Islands. And one more initiative has dealt with facilitation of customs and other governmental agencies procedures in the port area. And in this case, we've done, well, our goals were to reduce time required for customs physical inspections, to ensure full traceability of the inspection process, and improve the coordination of different authorities and bodies inspecting the cargo. We've done 3 prototypes, and instead of me talking about them, I'd like to show you a short video, it's only 3 minutes long, that will describe the work we've done in this initiative.
Cargo moving through ports must comply with certain customs and inspection formalities in order to be dispatched on time. These processes take place in 3 different places: border inspection points, port terminals, and bonded warehouses. Furthermore, each public inspection has its own specific procedure that delays the clearance of cargo in export and import flows. The time between the inspections and the clearance by customs of the goods is unnecessarily long, and as a result, coordination problems between the different authorities and bodies inspecting the cargo lead to inefficiency. Moreover, the information exchange is paper-based, and this increases the potential for error. Customs agents must report the results of the inspections to the customs agent's office using several different information systems. In parallel, customs agents have to inform customs in accordance with national rules about cargo clearance once the cargo has been checked. This initiative has prototyped and piloted 3 different solutions based on mobile technologies and new prototype applications using port community systems in Spain and the UK. By taking advantage of new devices and prototype applications, the time between inspections and customs clearance of goods can be reduced, and a greater amount of inspection information can be made available to all the relevant authorities. Focusing on the Port of Barcelona, a prototype was designed which analysed physical inspection processes at the port in order to propose improvements to these tasks whilst taking advantage of mobile technology. Applications were also prototyped which aimed to improve coordination among government agencies. The prototype reduces the customs clearance time by an average of 3 to 4 hours per container or truck inspected, with a mobile application being used for inspection processes. This offers an appointment system for all authorities, enabling them to share information about the list of specific shipments to be inspected and providing them with access to an archive containing all the documents related to those shipments. A prototype has been developed in order to reduce the waiting time for drivers leaving the border inspection post by using mobile technologies. Once the inspection has taken place, the BIP informs all agents involved. When the PCS receives the clearance of the container from customs, an SMS is sent to the driver and he can leave the BIP. The waiting time for the driver has been reduced from an average of 1 hour to 15 minutes during the pilot testing. MCP plc has prototyped 3 solutions introducing new PCS functionalities. Extracting the country of origin and commodity code data from the import CUSDEC submitted to Chief via Destinate. Extending the local hold functionality for imports and exports, including transshipments, to Port Health, Customs and other government agencies, or OGAs, in order to improve trade visibility in those cases where OGAs interact directly with consignments at either pre- or post-customs clearance. Simplifying transshipment transactions by using improved auto-clearance, minimising the need for paper-based transshipment requests, and enabling a fully automated import-export transshipment process.
This app developed by the Port of Barcelona and the Port of Valencia.
Okay, well, the video continues with some of the benefits that the stakeholders that have participated have found, but all these videos are in the B2MoS website. If you would like to learn more about our initiatives, please go ahead and have a look at them. So summing up, in Activity 1, 25 core communities have been involved and 147 companies have been consulted in the 5 interoperability studies that we've carried out. In Activity 2, we've done 14 quick win solutions that have involved 37 prototypes and pilots, and an average of 4 partners have been piloting each initiative on average. And over 700 members of core communities have attended our communication and training events. At the end of the project, we've carried out a cost-benefit analysis of the 14 quick win solutions piloted in B2MoS, and we found out that the net present value for all of them is positive. On average, payback would take less than 2 years, so investing in this kind of solutions would pay back in a very short term. The net present value of implementing all these solutions would be almost 73 million euros, and this is using very conservative assumptions, as we've assumed that only those partners that have participated in the pilots will implement these solutions. The reality is that we hope many more stakeholders will be interested in implementing many of these solutions. And definitely, those that involve customs and other governmental agencies will involve all the companies in the countries where these have been piloted. And for every euro of technical funding received, 27 euros of net benefits will be generated. If we have to sum up our contribution to the Motorways of the Sea priority project, we would say that B2MoS has facilitated trade and has brought business to Motorways of the Seas. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Eva. We now turn to Mikael Renz from the Swedish Maritime Administration from the ANA project to Sustainable Tools for the EU Logistic Chain. Sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds brilliant. The floor is yours, Cal.
It's on the stick. Not so quick. So, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody is still awake. Do you find it? always find this kind of interesting trying to present leaning forward and get your swelling belly stuck in the table here. Anyway, my name is Michael Renz. I'm from the Swedish Maritime Administration. And I'm here to talk a little bit about the ANA project. I'll try to be quick with that one because what I want to talk a little bit more about is the lesson learned. What we actually have done in Sweden with the findings from the project. I think everybody knows that the maritime single window is based on, or is actually a solution to the Directive 2010/65. So this talk will be about the directive more or less. So who am I? Well, that's a question I always ask myself. I'm currently the head of IT strategy and architecture within my administration. I do represent Sweden as the member states representative in the Digital Transport and Logistic Forum, which is a kind of a difficult word to say. I work as a national expert within the MoS group setting up the Maritime Single Window, and I also was an activity leader within ANA project. So ANA, we were 14 EU member states, got together and tried to have some fun while we did serious work. We were 11 observed countries that were interested in the work that was going on. We had 10 of the world interesting organizations like WCO, World Shipping Council and so forth, that were observer organizations. We ended up delivering a master plan, and everything here you will see about the ANA project is for free. You can download it from the anamsw.eu website, so you can find all the reports, all the master plans, all the pilot descriptions, and everything. The main thing here is that when we developed this master plan, it's like a prescription for how to develop a single window. It includes some key features like actual requirements. What do we have to solve? We have a data model. I will come back to the data model and data elements. Since I'm an IT guy, this will be a little bit of some technical stuff later on. We have message structures, talking about the governance, risk aspects, security guidelines, and stuff like that. But all of these you can read if you are interested on the website. Woo. We run some 57 pilot projects all across these member states. The projects was mostly aimed at front, mid, and back office, which we were calling them. That's more or less like lodging the information, handling the information, and sharing the information. That's front, mid, and back. We also, from the master plan, made some special building blocks, more like common features, stuff like that. And we did a lot of cooperation with the European community itself, and also with the Commission, since we were, most of us guys working there were also part of the EMS group, which was the expert group for the Maritime Single Window. We have some common pilots, which more or less all of the member states that were involved in ANA were part of. I will highlight the message implementation guide here, which is version 1.0 ready, based on the WCO data model, and I will also come back to that a little bit later. But as I said before, everything you see here is downloadable. So, the Swedish way. It's might even be the European way, I don't know, but sometimes Swedes are considered a little bit strange, since we are living in a country with sun, with light 3 months a year and then pitch black. But anyway, we set up a portal. Before I will go into, now I have to try to get some cheating notes here so I don't forget anything. We choose to actually implement this is what I want to bring to you all. We actually choose to implement the findings from the project. So for us, ANA project was not just about doing pilots. We also did that, of course, because we were trying and finding out how to actually establish a single window. But as soon as the pilots turned successful, boom, we went ahead and implemented them. And this is the Swedish Maritime Administration from a ship's perspective. So a ship is going to shore and he has to pass us, more or less. He also has to pass the Coast Guard and the custom. But since I'm representing the Maritime Administration, I will just talk about us. So there are sea sharks, there are construction and technology, we have lighthouses, we have search and rescue, we have helicopters to fly out and help people if they fall in the sea. We have VTSs, we have icebreakers, we have the pilots. So everything connected to a ship approaching shore is handled through us, and we are very, very interested in the data. So harmonization and data sharing is really a key for us. And this has been brought up during the last couple of years and also put in our IT strategy, which runs for the whole Maritime Administration itself. All of these boxes you see there, they are doing very, very different things, but they all rely on the same input from the ship. It might be interesting for an icebreaker to know if it's dangerous cargo on board, if it gets stuck in the ice. Maybe they should pick that ship before another one. It might even have a weak hull, who knows. But there is a lot of IT stuff there. It's just a couple of old legacy systems that has to be fed with new data. And that is why information sharing is such important. And also, there's also key that the information shared is understood by these individual department within us. So how did we make it work then? Well, based on the ANA master plan, we made a logical architecture. We made a data model based on the one we did within ANA. We came up with this, the declaration that we came up with together, and that's actually, I will tell you a little bit about that just in a second. We also made messages and we tried to figure out how to use, who is actually going to use all this within the Maritime Administration and also within Sweden, because the Coast Guard, the customs, they're also on board. Just a quick one. This is a data model. It's a vessel call, and around the vessel call, there's information. And this is for me as an IT guy, this is the key. If you can agree and understand this, and then you can easily communicate with other people like the Coast Guard and the customs and Port of Gothenburg or even another port in another country. And this is based on the WCO data model. It works very, very well for us. This is implemented in the Swedish system, as it looks. Together with our friends from the ANA project, we went ahead and took this data model and mapped it into what we call declaration types. And this is more or less a language. If you want to talk to another person or another IT system, you better talk the same language. Otherwise, it will not get understood. So, NOAA, for example, notification of arrival. It might be crystal clear for everybody in here what is a notification of arrival. But if you would have told me, each and every one individual, you would say different things. It might be, for one of you, it might just be a time. For another one, it might be time and some other things. So what we did was we defined what is a notification of arrival. So when I'm talking to the trade, they know what I mean by a notification of arrival. And when I talk to my colleagues at the Swedish Maritime Administration, it's the same. And also the customs. So, from A to B to C, same language. No misunderstanding. No trouble with the IT system that breaks up and doesn't work. And in the end, we just took these things and we punched them through the WCO data model machine, and out came XML and artifact messages. It was really easy. It took 2 years, but that's another story. So when building systems, logical architecture is very important. And thank you, Brady, for showing these pictures before so everybody can get a feeling for what was coming. For us, when we are working here, we work a lot on the front office there. You see, there is actually the messaging, the data is being lodged there, either through machine to machine or a user interface. And all the red dots on the screen you can see there is the message implementation guide. There is the language specified, so everybody can talk to each other. In Sweden, we went, since we are a little bit strange, we went even further. We implemented the full MIG within the internal structures of all our systems. So we just have one implementation throughout the whole system. That goes for the Coast Guard, Customs, the Maritime Administration, the Port of Gothenburg and the Port Community System. I just told you this, we use Common GUI pilot, Common MIG pilot. We use the data model based on WCO. We also use the Common Spreadsheet pilot for bulk upload, together with Portugal, Belgium, a couple other countries. This is tested in real-time scenarios in Sweden. And most important, we have actually gone and implemented, and it works. Current status for our maritime single window. Production, full production by tomorrow. Custom will join tomorrow. Then we will be fully operational. And then we have some part C for you that are familiar with the directive that will be implemented in the autumn. Wrap up. What we found out, which is I think really good to take with you when you are thinking of this, that use the same base data model. It's very, very, very important. Otherwise you will be confused. You will talk different languages to each other. This is about the semantics. WCO, UNEC, huge data models. Been there for ages. Why make up another one? Enable information sharing. It's vital. This is about the architecture. Not everything is supposed to be shared. Not all companies like information sharing, like Apple. They live on locking. And the last one I think is most important and also probably the most difficult one. We discussed this in the Digital Transport and Logistics Forum. Establish trust. You have to be able to trust each other. And this I do not have an answer for, but this is the usage of the information, and it's a lot about security. So by that, I want to say that the goal for all of us is that the happy ship enters the harbor and can lodge the goods for traveling to the hinterland. And by that, I say thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next is Raquel Maya from the Challenge. And Raquel is going to talk to us on the interoperable systems and processes for an effective maritime transport integration in the multimodal logistics chain. Okay. And after Raquel, we'll have coffee.
afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to thank you for inviting me to be here. It is a great pleasure. And my name is Raquel Maia. I'm a member of the board of Port Authority of Douro, Leixões and Viana do Castelo. And I'm here to speak about interoperable systems and process for an effective maritime transport integration in the multimodal logistic chain. Well, more specifically, I will speak about the plan that we in the Port of Leixões have to implement the integration of maritime transport in multimodal logistic chain. I would like just to explain that the change of our name, we are no longer the Port Authority of Leixões only. We have been for 1 century, but now we are also in charge of Port of Viana do Castelo, which is 7 kilometers away to the north, and in charge of navigability of the Douro River inland waterway, the main inland waterway, Portuguese inland waterway, that links the inland of our country to the Atlantic. Okay, so I'll go through these items. I would like to give you an overview about, general overview about Port of Leixões. And then I will speak to you about our strategy and finish with the future. Okay, so some figures about Port of Leixões. This is referred to 2015, and as you can see, last year we dealt with 18.7 million tons. We received nearly 3,000 vessels. We are a landlord port, so we have 11 private operators. We deal with containerized cargo, bulk cargo, and general cargo. We export to 184 countries, and 5.3 million tons are to export. We have this new building, this beautiful new building that you can see in the picture. Is our new cruise terminal. So we are growing in this domain. We received last year 80 cruise ships. Okay. Here you can see our connections, direct connections and direct lines to 184 countries. That shows our multimodal context that we have. You have been this before, seen this before, Jonathan has shown it. Is just to show you that Port of Leixões is in the Atlantic corridor. It's a part of the Atlantic corridor. And I would like to draw your attention for this map. It demonstrates the great connections that we have with other land-based transports, with the inland platforms. You can see this railway line. You can see also the connection with the main national roads. We actually have an exclusive road to the access of the port from the main national roads. We have also this new logistic platform that we, Port of Leixões, have built and now are operating. So, Port of Leixões is a port of core network of TNT, belongs to the Atlantic corridor. And very important, it is situated in the most industrialized area of Portugal and north of Spain. And it is the main Portuguese port in export and import of containerized cargo. So regarding this reality, this connection with our hinterland, I would like to emphasize that we are mainly a gateway port. We assume a position that we should not be only worried about the competencies as a port authority, but we should promote the efficiency of the port in these all dimensions and go further for the needs of our customers and try to see how can we promote and improve cargo movimentation. So we decided to work with a view that is, well, based on these 3 dimensions or three systems. So in order to facilitate trade and provide additional reliable service to our customers, we are developing 3 IT systems. The port single window, that have been implemented in 1999, and this is precisely to integrate the actors of the port community. I mean all the entities that and collective bodies that have responsibilities in port operations, and it's the tool to streamline port processes. The River Information Service, this system is to manage the river navigability, and logistical single window to develop logistic service chain. Here I would like to highlight that to implement port single window, which was definitely the way to achieve the efficiency of the port that we are looking for, it was very important to look for an overall simplification of the procedure and the integration of the procedure. And for that, we think that we need a commitment between business and administration domain. It was really very important. I mean, it's not only the technology, we really need to work all on this, being successful. And now the focus is on the development and integration of these three main systems, also supported by EU co-funded projects. Port single window, as I said before, was first implemented in 1999, and we are developing with new functionalities and extended to cover the inland platforms. We are working on this concept, extended gateway concept, through these projects, in order to flow as much as possible the cargo to the other inland platforms. The River Information Service, as I said before, is a platform to help us in supporting the inland navigability of the river, and it will be integrated with port single window. And finally, logistic single window is extended of the concept of port single window in order to covering door-to-door transport passing through the port of Leixões. Here you have this table, some kind of jigsaw that shows all the projects and what are we trying to develop in each one and how can they fit together. I would like to underline that in all these projects, Motorways of the Sea program was a facilitator, and I hope it continues to be. Okay, so to sum up, I would like to say that in Port of Leixões we have been investing in this IT technology in order to simplify the procedure, turn it more digital, more simple, and in the end improve maritime transport. Regarding the future, well, in the future, we have this idea. We think that real interoperability of systems and process that can cover door-to-door network should be achieved through a network of collaborative platforms. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Now I think we are going for coffee. And the good news is that when board and administration of a board has three different assets to manage, they have to develop tools to integrate it into one single image. So you're going on the right direction. That's what I want to do. Let's go for coffee, guys. 15 minutes, and you're back into the punishment.